Hi guys, welcome to Florida Man Outdoors. Obviously, if you clicked on this link of this YouTube channel, we're here today to teach you kind of the super basics of how to gator hunt. I see all the time, you know, these new guys, they want to get into hunting, but they didn't have a mentor like I had. They don't have someone to teach them. And then they get on these sites and they ask questions because they just want to know. And these dudes just roast them, make them feel like absolute dog. Like, that's just, I don't know. I feel like this video can help some of those guys. We are going to be specific to Florida, but I do know that most of these regulations move over to Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Mississippi. Texas and Louisiana have their own thing going. That's the Wild West out there. We have some pretty specific regulations here in the Deep South. With that being said, somebody that you've seen on the channel before that you guys may not know, but taught me almost everything I know about gator hunting, this is my boy Paul. I met him 8 years ago whenever I first moved down to South Florida, because I grew up in North Florida.
Has it been 8 years already?
It has been 8 years.
I'm fun, I guess.
8 years on March 23rd. So he's taught me almost everything I know about gator hunting, and I have some things that I have taught him. But in the end, we're going to teach you guys in this video. We're going to do a two-part series. We're going to cover everything from the day you apply for the tag until you kill your gator and are at the processing phase. So with that being said, also, to add to it, we'll go ahead and say it on this video. I've tried to give you guys super regular content, but I am just so busy with my full-time job and doing everything else. Paul's gonna start doing some stuff because he lives on this river and he's out here 7 days a week, to where I'm out here like maybe 1 or 2 days a week.
Sometimes I can't even get you on the phone.
No. So with that being said, let's get right to it. So step one of this process, in Florida, you have to apply for the lottery. They issue these things called CITES tags, C-I-T-E-S tags. These are public water, public land tags. Each tag that you apply for, you have a zone that you hunt. You have a lake. You have, what is it? Lake
County tags, river, and then also lake tags.
Yeah, and there's also general area tags too.
But there's other thing too. If there is a lake with tags in a county, even though you have that county tag, you're not allowed to hunt that lake unless you like. So we're particularly in Manatee County. Manatee County tag, you can hunt anywhere in Manatee County, any public area or private land with permission. Now, in Manatee County is Lake Manatee, which also has its own tags. So you have to have Lake Manatee tags to be in Lake Manatee, but you can hunt the rivers and tributaries of that lake with a county tag.
And once you draw these tags, I'm telling you, because I've seen people get nabbed for it, these wardens, if you screw up, they are not cutting you any slack with these gators. I'm telling you, they protect these gators more than they protect their own children. So you need to read these regulations and watch this video, okay? This video is not for legal purposes, just so you know. I'm just trying to help the public out here, us gator hunter family. So it's lottery time. You apply for your region, you apply for your lake. Do us all a favor here, and this is going to go into like kind of a hunter ethic thing. And we see it on these Facebook groups, these Instagram posts all the time. If you live in North Florida and you've never been to Lake Tahoe, don't apply for those tags, because you're taking tags from people that would use them. If you're not going to use these tags, don't apply for them. Scout out areas in your region. Go to the FWC map. All that link's going to be down below. Find an area that's convenient for you, or that you've hunted before, that you know that you're going to be able to go.
And also that it fits your own abilities. So we have a relatively large boat, which is going to be easier to hunt bigger lakes. Now, if you're in a smaller boat, or if you're not able to be out in weather or something like that, you're going to pick some of the smaller lakes. And like
Lake Manatee, for instance.
there you go, Lake Manatee right here.
Those ducks.
And yep, teals.
Yep. Anyhow,
All right, duck season's over. Now,
so you applied for your lottery. So it's $272 here in the state of Florida. You get 12 slots that you can put where you would like tags for.
choices.
Yeah, choices. It sits in FWC's bank. 10 days later, FWC says, throws it in the lotto machine, sends you an email if you got a tag. You didn't get a tag, you don't get an email. They send you an email, they say, okay, so you drew Lake Seminole for week 2. Okay, what week 2 means is that you have certain dates. Okay, our first 4 weeks of Gator season are week specific. You got week 1 tags, week 2 tags, week 3 tags, week 4 tags. The last day of week 4 opens, after the last day of week 4, opens general season. During this general season, it's the Wild West.
Gator season's 3 months long.
Yes.
Basically, it's the first month, the first 4 weeks. That's your first week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Then after those 4 weeks, the second remaining 2 months opens it up to everybody. Basically, they don't want to. Now, Lake Manatee, for instance, doesn't have very many tags. They only pull, I think, 4 or 6 tags.
Yep.
Let's say Lake Okeechobee, where they have 176 tags per. Different regions and such. But when you have that many tags, then you have so many hunters. So that's why they break it down into groups.
Correct.
So they'll break it evenly into 4 groups of people. And then give everybody an equal chance to get out there and have a nice hunt without everybody running on top of each other. So it seems kind of confusing, but actually it works out really well.
It works out really well. And also, if when you do your lottery, you apply for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, where you're at. If you get those week 4 tags, I'm telling you, they're not bad tags, because I kill my biggest gators at the end of the season.
In the general season, the end of the general season.
Yeah, because, early on, those gators are a little less spooky, but those late season tags can be gold.
And we'll go over that with the different tactics depending on the times of the season.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so, not saying that one is better than the other, you just have to switch the games up a little bit, but they're definitely doable throughout the whole season.
So you got your tags. FWC sent you your email. They said you'll be receiving your CITES tags in the mail. Come end of June, early July, you get this nice little plastic package from FWC.
It's like Christmas in
It's
July.
like
great.
Christmas in July. You get these tags. They may be yellow, white, or pink, whatever it is for the given year. You look at them, you throw them in your boat, you go gator hunting later in the year. You kill your gator, you tag your gator, you get stopped. Who's gonna be pissed off at that?
I've done it before.
So you, at the minute that you get these tags, sign them. Because they are not, and it says in all caps at the bottom, these tags endorsed are not legal until signed. You get your tags from the lottery, sign your tags, then you're legal. Put them in a dry box. I put them all in my safe.
Yep.
So
You get that yellow piece of paper on the front, which is your actual written
Yes.
tag. But actually, the tags that he's describing, the different colored, almost like a zip tie style tag.
yes,
Anyhow, they're stapled to that paper when you pull it out. And then just underneath where it's stapled, there's a line right there that says not valid until signed. And I've got stopped before, legally hunting a gator, I thought so, to put my tag in the gator, get stopped, show the game warden my tag, and he says, "You're going to jail." And I was like, "What?"
yep. We were on Lake with Tom McDaniel, Steve Kester, and
Oh my
Tom's son.
goodness. Yeah.
We caught 2 gators. One was like 11.5 foot, one was 11 foot.
And it was great. Both of them, well, within the first 2 hours
Oh my
of the
gosh.
season.
Of
So,
2 hours of season starting.
Yep.
I mean, we smoked them. We get stopped by this gang of game wardens that thought we were poaching because we killed them so fast. We were, all happy, checking legalities, go through everything. And this game warden, who was a complete
drill sergeant.
We'll call him a drill sergeant.
Yes.
He said, "You aren't legal." And I thought to myself, I said, what in the heck is going on? Because I'm like super OCD about my dates and stuff. And I'm like, I know these tags are legal. And he said, "These tags aren't signed." And I looked over at him and he just went, So in the end, guys, sign your tags as soon as you get them.
He was nice enough to hand me a pen and let me sign my tags, and we let us go. Everything else was good.
Yeah,
but,
and as long as these FWC guys, as long as they don't think you're up to monkey business, they'll help you out a little bit. But if it's something like
it comes down to respect. And
Yeah,
you respect
yes.
them, and if you want to get cocky and you want to smart off a little bit, they're going to smart off, and that's not the person to smart off to.
No.
So just be respectful. Stay on top of your game. Make sure your T's are crossed, your I's are dotted, and your paper's signed.
So we've got our tags signed. Let's say you drew those coveted first phase tags. It's August 15th. Okay. Right now in the state of Florida, we cannot hunt before 5 p.m. You can hunt until 10 a.m. the next day, just for a reference. FWC has started pushing some crap where they're like, they sent emails to everybody that applied for tags and said, would you like to be able to hunt all day? Okay, kind of a side note from this little podcast style video. If you got that email and didn't figure it out, it's going to be your fault whenever we start being able to hunt all day and these gators don't get breaks, and our fishery is going to go to
they need the rest area, just like your regular fishing, bass fishing. Most of the pressure is put on the weekend, and then that's kind of a Saturday morning. Everybody wants to go out. The fish have got a couple days off. I mean, there are people like me that are out there all week, but there is.
and you can see too, like even if you hunt public lands, I mean, like don't go hunting on the weekend. So we got to give these animals a break. So if you haven't filled that email out, go fill that email out. With that being said, so back to it. It's 5 o'clock. It's opening day. What do you need to be legal? So first of all, you need to go to FWC's website and get everything you need legal for a boat, because it's a lot of stuff.
And it even changes with the boat length.
Yes.
So the cutoff is 16 feet. So anything under 16 feet, you need X amount of gear and provisions on your boat to be safe and legal. But anything over 16 feet, you actually have additional requirements and additional things that are required on the boat. So it's very important to check that out.
Essentially, have your life jackets, because that's something that FWC, they do not care about. If you do not have life jackets, you're getting how much is that ticket?
I choose not to answer that.
I think it's like what, $85. $85 a ticket. So have your life jackets, have your air horn, have your whistles, your ropes, have your navigation lights.
Navigation's a big thing. There's only two things that I've really, over the years of being pulled over, and just checked periodically, the two things that they do not give warnings for are navigational lights and life jackets.
Yes.
They'll let you slide on a lot of things. I mean, just when you get pulled over, they don't always write you a ticket for your seatbelt or your speed, or you get the not. But when you come out on the water with no lights and no life jackets, you better believe you're getting a ticket.
You're done.
Absolutely.
Also, don't forget your tags. Okay. You just put your tags in your boat. I mean, it's something that I've never done it, but I know for a fact that I've had buddies that have went out and were gator hunting. They were hunting, and the game warden just pulled up to check them, and he said, "Where's your tags?" And they didn't have tags.
And now that's a felony charge.
Yeah, that's
no guns, no gator hunting ever.
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good at all. So get legal. Read the regulations from FWC or Mississippi or Alabama or wherever you're hunting. Read your regulations. Have everything legal, so when you go out, when you take that new gator hunter out, game warden stops, pulls you over, checks your stuff. You go home, everything's good. Everybody's happy. Don't make it a bad experience. That being said, what do these guys got to have that come along with you? Because say I draw gator tags, I have buddies that want to come with me.
So they have what they call a trapping agent's license. A trapping agent license allows you to be on the boat and take part in the gator hunting experience. You are legally allowed to be on the boat if you do not have this license, but if you are, you will not be able to hold a fishing rod, you will not be able to hold a gaff or a harpoon, or say you got a harpoon in them and, hey, hold this rope. Nope, you cannot touch that rope. And I'll tell you right now, these game wardens are sneaky. They will sit in the bank with night vision and watch, and they will wait till that gator's completely in the boat, and then when they pull you over, you better tell the truth, because they've done watched you do
Yep.
The whole day, they've watched you pull the gator in. They've watched you do everything, and so they, like you said, they don't play with gators.
No.
Nope.
So, for instance, like last year, I had this crew come hunting with me because I guide gator hunts here in South Florida. Which perfect time for a plug. If you draw tags and you need somebody to put you on a big gator in South Central Florida, I can hook you up. He can hook you up. We got you. With that being said, so I had this little family. So there was the dad, the mom, and the son. Okay. Get on here. Mom didn't want to do anything. Okay. She just wanted to watch. So we catch this gator, roll the gator over in a boat. We get checked. Game warden rolls up to the boat, and he's checking everybody's license. And I said, the lady, like, she didn't do anything. She said, the game warden said, "Oh, it's okay. I've been watching the entire time." So I'm telling you, like, these guys, Green Jeans is sneaky, but that's okay.
And these license tags, they're not expensive. I think it's $50. I think it's $50 to get your agent license.
Yeah, and $52.
Yeah, but it's you're going to jail if you don't.
Yes.
I mean, so it's you're basically poaching. Even though there's legal tags on the boat, everybody on the boat. If you want to pick up that fishing rod and you don't have that $50 license, you're now poaching, and it's now a felony charge.
Pay for the license. We got our tags. You know, our boat's legal. We're ready to go hunting. Okay. A couple things that, as a guide myself, there's a couple other guides, you know, from being out there. There's this thing called hunter ethics. I'm gonna tell you a little story. So this past year, it was August 15th. It was 5 p.m. We pull up to the lake.
Opening minute.
Opening minute. I had scouted these two big gators out for months.
Which goes back to go do your research.
Yeah.
Don't get on that lake at August 15th at noon and say, "All right, let's figure this out. Let's go find the gator."
So I get out there. Gator's right where I think he's going to be. This particular group of hunters weren't into like the snatch hook method, so we had some bait. So I go, we drop a bait, and I have this gator that's, 10 feet from the bait and closing in, and these yahoos scream in on this gator with this boat, trying to snatch hook him and harpoon him off of a boat, when they can clearly see my bait. And I'm looking at my binoculars, they're looking at me. And it's like, guys, okay, we're all hunters here. If you see another hunter in a general area, personally me, if I see somebody that's I think could even be gator hunting, stay 400 or 500 yards away from them.
That's like putting a pop-up blind next to somebody's tree stand. You just don't do it.
Man, just don't do it. And I don't airboat hunt. I know these airboat guys that do airboat hunt, and I'm from North Florida where we run dogs for deer. And in the gator hunting world, I feel like the airboat hunters are like comparable to the dog hunters. I'm diverse enough to see both sides of it, but a lot of people aren't. So I can't speak for an airboat hunter, but I really don't know how you guys do it or what you do to kill these gators. But
I'll take you on airboat.
If you like, just in the end, no matter how you're hunting, just stay 400 or 500 yards away from other guys. We got 40,000 acre lakes in some of these places. Don't be right up on these guys. Just
respect.
Respect. Yeah, just respect your hunters. And also hunter ethics. You see a guy, waving his hands or doing something, you have to respect. If he's saying back off, just back off. Just respect these hunters, because they went through the same process that you've went through as far as getting these tags and getting legal and all of the above. So just provide some general respect. It goes a long way in our gator hunting community. We got our tags. We're all legal. We understand. Don't be a dick with our hunting methods. Now, it's
my middle name, right?
Well,
no, legally.
Dick?
Yep.
So Richard?
It is.
Is it really?
Yep. Paul Richard. That's it.
What a dick.
Yep. I'm allowed. You guys don't be a dick.
He can be a third of a dick. So we gotta get some equipment to gator hunt with. So here in Florida, There's two main ways. I guess there's actually three ways to catch these gators legally. There's one way that, like I told you guys before, I don't know anything about, which is the gator hunting way. I know they like take the airboats, glide over these gators, and like harpoon them and do that thing. I have never done that. Would I like to do it one day? Yes. Will I do it one day? Absolutely. But I don't know enough to tell you guys any type of expertise on killing gators off of an airboat. Okay. The two ways that I kill gators is with a snatch hook and with bait. With that being said, as a guide, I bait a lot more than I snatch hook. But I like snatch hooking a whole heck of a lot more.
Well, a lot of times the reasoning for that is because you're generally on the same lakes and you're on some of the bigger lakes and that sort of thing. Well, the snatch hooking is great, but it does put a lot of pressure on the alligators.
Yes, it does.
It can, depending on who you are. So basically, when you snatch hook an alligator, you're spotting a gator generally at night. Snatch hooking works way better at night. So then you're going to spot an alligator using a light. You can either use a Q-beam style light, or you can hit some of the really nice headlamps that have quite a distance. You can spot like with those the handheld lights of any kind. I mean, there's lots of different light options out there. And actually, speaking of lights, there's white lights, which is your everybody uses. And then also sometimes these pressured gators and different gators in general will not react the same if you use the different colored lights. They've got the different lenses you can put in them, or some of them are strictly one color or another. Yep. You've got the blue lenses, you've got yellow lenses, you've got green lenses, you've got red lenses, and they all react differently. Just the same way headlights kind of blind you at night, but if sometimes if you hit it different with a different color lights, I mean, even blue lights are cop lights, or red lights that you see on fire trucks and such. I mean, they react different even with people's eyes. The cones in your eyes or whatever. I'm not sure how all that. You're the doctor, but
well, I'm just a nurse. Trust me, just a frickin' nurse. So we found this gator. We're on him with our lights. Where do you go next?
The old spinning rod, big hook and spinning rod. Now back to preparation. Take this rod out and cast it before you throw it at a gator, because casting at night is different than casting during the day.
Yes, it is.
Personally, I'll go out with my headlamp, which I prefer to use a headlamp. You can kind of see the gator while you cast. Pick out a leaf, or pick out a ripple, or pick something out in the water and try to throw on it. And the first time you throw at night, it's going to be way different. Not to mention you're throwing a super heavy weighted hook.
Yeah.
And it's not like throwing a crankbait or a rubber worm.
A lot different.
It's going to be, you're using a way bigger rod. I generally use 60 or 80 pound test. Some people like bigger, some people like smaller. Obviously, the smaller you go, you're going to be able to cast just that little bit farther. But on the other hand, the smaller you go, you run the risk of breaking it.
Yep.
So there's a fine line in that, but I prefer 60. Sometimes I'll go to 80. Always using braided line. Braided line has a lot more resistance to breaking off.
Yeah.
It's got better casting ability, and it works really good.
And to add on to that, you guys don't see me promote hardly any products that I use on this channel. With that being said, this here is a product that I believe in. Like, this is all I use. So these hooks right here, these are called Gator Taker hooks. And
that's the name brand. That's it's just not what we call them.
That's the name brand.
Yep.
My guy Hunter, he's from out of Mississippi. He, I guess, got the patent on these. And it's just a molded weight around the treble hook.
It looks very similar to most of your other hooks, but I'll tell you, I was introduced to these not too long ago, and they actually work better. And it doesn't make sense why, and I don't know why, but they work better.
Well, I think what it is it gives you that back drag there, so you're actually dragging like this in the water. You come up on that gator, you're dragging like this, boom, you're hooked, as opposed to those other hooks. A lot of times they're dragging like this. So I'm going to put his link in the description below. We're trying to get a promo code worked out between the two of us. when I get a promo code, it's going to be FMO1. So use my promo code, and if my promo code's not running by then, just go ahead and just say, hey, Adam from Florida Man Outdoors sent me to get some hooks. He has hooks. He's got these really cool Gator Taker shirts. He's got cool Gator Taker hats. He's got all the stuff. I mean, he can hook you up. He's got the mule tape rope. He's got it all. So Gator Taker hooks, I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. And with that being said, so Paul was touching on the poundage, the pound line that he uses. Like he said, 60 to 80. Personally, me, I like to run my spool at 60, and then, well, you can't see here, but it's tie a double leader for about 3 foot, because, you know, when that gator starts rolling or thrashing, you know, you hook him in the side, he's going to be he kicks at that hook, you know, with his feet. And I mean,
I've had them dislodge the hook when you get it over their back or whatnot. They'll hit it with their foot, and you'll actually get caught in the webbing of their feet.
If he gets caught in that webbing, he's done.
But on top of that, what they do on that webbing, which makes your leader line more important, is they will roll. They do that death roll. And as soon as they get caught in the foot, you can bring it out to the boat, it pulls them up a little bit sideways, they see you, and they start rolling. Now, that's where your leader comes in, because they're back, and I mean, it can be, there's nothing worse than getting a gator all the way to the boat and he breaks the line. It's terrible.
And it sucks.
But that goes into, what's the next step after you get a gator to the boat?
Well, to add on to the snatch hooking thing, we do the leaders. We just double up the line. That's not the only way to do it.
Doubling up the line. Basically, I tie either a bimini twist or a spider's hitch, which is basically a giant loop knot.
Yeah.
In that loop knot, now you have basically, not basically, but here we go. So this is a giant loop knot right here. And so from there, I tie a polymer knot with the loop itself. And basically what that does is it goes a little bit better than a stronger leader, because you've actually got two lines here. And with that polymer knot, it will actually hold tight. So if one of these lines was to break, it's not gonna slide, so you've got twice the chances, basically. So it's the same 60 pound, I don't put a heavier leader on. You can put a heavier leader on it if you prefer. But I tie a giant loop knot with the polymer knot at the bottom, and then, like I said, it won't slide if one of these was to break.
And while we do this, I have a buddy that gator hunts. His name is Nick Odom. He will take these. This isn't a Gator Taker hook.
No, that's one of my homemade hooks, which is similar design, but it's not.
And they just don't work as well.
And I've used this for years, and they work great.
Yeah.
But those Gator Takers, when I started using those, actually I ran out. I need to get some more from you.
Hunter's gonna hook us up.
All right.
So Nick, he uses a steel, like an 18-inch steel leader. I've tried it once. I couldn't do it. But I mean,
well, in my experience, I like that idea. But with my experience, something else, when you're snatch hooking an alligator, going back to being able to cast it appropriately. Obviously, you don't want to cast and hit the gator, which has happened. But then you don't want to overcast it too far. Now you want to get past the gator to be able to hook him, but if you was to overcast that by 20 yards or 30 yards, and not only are you reeling this up, so as soon as that hook hits the water, it's going to start coming down. Well, as soon as it goes over top of that gator's back, he can feel that. And I've tried some of those heavier leaders, and this is why I prefer this double line method, because as soon as it gets to the edge of your leader, he's gonna feel that bump, and he's gonna feel a bump just moments before that hook hits him, and just those moments can be the difference between being able to catch that gator and not catch that gator.
And chasing him around for the rest of the night. Because I mean, snatch hooking, you're gonna get one chance. You may get two, and then it's gonna be an all day.
You're gonna get one easy shot.
Yeah,
and then it's gonna be farther away. He's gonna start going down, and that's the pressure that we were talking about.
Yep.
About not being able to hunt all day, and if you sit there and you try to hound the same gator over and over and over, now you might catch him. I mean, there are chances. I've seen him go around corners, and you can sneak up around some grass, and there's if you try, you'll catch him, but you don't want to catch him. I mean, just
be careful, do your due diligence, practice some casting before you go out. get your gator taker hooks, your spinning rods, get whatever braid you decide to use. We suggest the 60 to 80 pound. Get ready to, when you're pursuing this animal, like, you're respecting it enough that when you aggravate it, like, you're gonna harvest it. Instead of just pestering these lizards, just chasing them around, go prepared. Go prepared to take a life, because essentially that's what we're doing. With that
Something
being
else too is the anatomy of an alligator.
Yeah.
They do not have a super high endurance. I mean, you think about them being a dinosaur and super big. I have seen it happen. There was a friend of mine that was actually in a golf course pond that he had permission to be on, which again is legal as long as you have written permission on private property. I know the county tags and such. You're legal in any body of water that's a county maintained river or stream or however that works, or a lake that doesn't have its already tags. But this particular time it was on a golf course, and it was close to 10 foot, and basically this guy was on the edge of this lake, got a hook in him, couldn't pull it in, so he went, called his buddy went and got another rod. They had 2 hooks in him and trying to get him. Well, that gator just sat on the bottom, and they were not able to drag him in, and they stood there for almost an hour trying to get him in, and then the line finally broke. Well, that gator being under pressure for that long, they found dead floating the next day.
Wow.
So it's imperative to have the right equipment. Now I use a medium heavy rod. There's a fine line on the length, so I like a longer rod. This one is actually a 7-foot rod, and that's probably the smallest one I'd use. This was actually one I keep. If you got a couple people on the boat, it's when you get a really big rod, and then it's being safe too.
Yeah.
So it's, again, whatever you prefer. But again, hounding these gators over and over and over, they actually will die. So you have to be ethical in it, and if you just snag a gator, you pull out the boat, he broke the line, and you do it again. There's a good chance that some of those gators are going to die.
And also, like, adding on that these gators are, I feel like they get exhausted relatively quickly. If you have a gator, that you pulled up to the side of the boat and God forbid your line breaks, you better start tying another hook really, really quickly, or either go ahead and have a backup rod plan, because more times than not, when they break off, and
they'll come up within 10 feet of the boat.
Within 15 seconds, they're going to come up within 10 feet of the boat, blowing air out of their nose, trying to breathe. And actually, this past year, I think there was 3 or 4 that I had break off with clients, and gators broke off. Clients are, like, oh, bummer. And I'm just like, give me the rod, give me the rod, give me the rod. Because I knew that gator was going to come up, and we ended up catching those gators after they broke off on that second cast. So, be persistent with it. And with this snatch hooking method, I'm telling you, more times than not, especially early on in your gator hunting, you're going to go home with an empty boat more so than with a bloody boat. But stay persistent. Gator taker hook, 65-pound braid, 7-foot rod.
I actually keep a couple of rods on my boat.
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
I keep 2 7-foot rods. I usually hold between 3 and 4 rods on the boat. He can get on to me.
Yep.
I always bring too much stuff.
Yep.
But so I've got a lighter rod sometimes with a little bit smaller hook, and I usually have a really heavy rod with a lot bigger hook. I mean, and a lot of times to get a second hook in them, because some of these big gators, once you get that first line in, it's not a bad idea to grab a second rod. Throw a second line in, because sometimes when the first line does break, you've still got them. You're able to tie another hook. And so I usually carry at least 3 rods, sometimes 4, and just to be able to get them over close to the boat.
So, in summary, snatch hooking, get you a light, get you a gator taker hook, 65-pound braid, 7-foot rod, 8,000 series reel. I've even used 6,500 series reels. Get after them. Be ethical. Get after them.
Practice.
Casting.
Practice casting. Even doesn't matter how good you are, you're not that good. Like, when you get under pressure, you see that gator, you're excited, and you're throwing at night, you'll be surprised. We've done this for years, and I miss a lot too.
Yep.
It's surprisingly, it's not as easy as it looks.
No. So now it's my turn to talk about the way that I like to hunt. And I like to hunt this way. I love snatch hooking, but baiting, it's fun. Number one, you can do it in the daytime, early in the morning, later in the evenings. You can also do it at night. We had a rodeo at nighttime on the last night of season this year with some bait, but
again, being prepared, because you have to be able to see, and it's you don't want this isn't, we're not catching catfish.
No.
And
it can be difficult, but with bait, what can we use for bait? Okay, you can use anything you want for bait, ethically. With that being said, here in the state of Florida, you cannot put a hook in that bait. Only thing that you can use is a little wooden dowel. That's what, 2 inches?
1 inch, inch and a quarter round, and no longer than 2 inches.
Yeah, but that's it. So what I do, I take that dial, have it on 400-pound mono, and then it's hooked to my bait.
You drill a hole. I drill a hole right in the center. I know you do the same.
Yep.
You drill a hole right in the center.
Yep.
And I always use a crimp.
Yep.
I don't bother tying it. 400-pound mono is like tying rope.
Yep.
It can be done. But wire crimps get the right equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and crimp that on there properly, and there's again nothing worse than losing one at the boat.
It works. And listen, when you're baiting, you see that gator, you'll be able to see your bait, because if you use chicken or beef lung or roadkill raccoons, whatever you use that's stinky and dead, these gators are going to eat it. So you have your bait out there, gator comes up, eats your bait. Baiting also, before we get to that, so baiting, it takes a little bit of patience.
Well, hold on, let's go back just a little bit. Now, your wooden dowel. Now, not only is a hook illegal,
mm-hmm.
but why is the main reason it is unethical? Not only illegal, why is it unethical to use that hook?
So whenever you got that hook in a bait, gator swallows the bait. First of all, that bait's gonna get down in his gut, and you're ripping his guts out with that hook.
Well, the plug itself. Now, when a gator eats something, back to the anatomy of a gator, it has a giant flap in the back of his throat. Yeah. And what happens is when it eats that bait, then it's gonna swallow that bait. And you can get into that a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, when that gator swallows that bait, the gator has to, it doesn't run around with it in his mouth, because when that gator swallows that bait is when you actually caught him.
Yeah.
But by using a hook, you can possibly damage their internals.
Yeah.
And so if that gator was to break off, now he's got a big hole in his stomach or whatever, and that gator will die.
He's gonna die. Unfortunately, we see I've seen this year, I think I've seen 3 or 4 gators over 10 foot just floating belly up that I'm sure was, some type of hunter's doing. I would think. So with that being said, you got your wooden dial, you got whatever bait you decide to use. You've found your gator, you've scouted out your gator. Gator comes up, eats the bait, you see him, he'll go up to it, eat that bait, throw his head back, arch his back, choke that thing down.
When they throw their head up like that, it's getting it past that flap.
Yes.
And as soon as they grab it, as soon as they get it past, and that's what that wooden dowel comes in handy,
mm-hmm.
because what it does, not only do you have that chunk of bait on there that's attached, but that wooden dowel, and that wooden dowel doesn't allow it to be pulled out past that flap. Because as soon as they go down, that keeps them from swallowing water and whatnot else. But as soon as they go underwater, then that flap stays closed, and that's what actually you're pulling against.
But now, don't be mistaken. You can pull that wooden dowel out of his mm-hmm. throat. Pretty freaking easily. Be careful with it. I personally, whenever a gator eats a bait, I just use it as a guide wire, and I get a snatch hook in him.
As soon as he eats that bait, he's going to go down to the bottom,
yep.
and he's going to chill, and he's going to try to digest. And you see all these stories where he'll grab a big a deer or whatnot, mm-hmm. and they'll just be chilling at the bank or just under the water, and they just let it digest.
And more times than not, whenever they're eating that bait, you put another snatch hook in him, he's going to spit that bait. Like from what I've seen, mm-hmm. that bait's going to be gone, and you're just going to have your snatch hook in him. So gator eats the bait, you just ease up to him, just work your way. And personally, me, I've been doing this for a long time, or for years. If I see a gator eat a bait, that's time for us to relax, chill out for a little bit, give that gator 5 to 10 minutes, even more, to let him get that bait down in his gullet where you ain't gonna lose him.
A lot of times I've seen them where they'll actually take it in their mouth and then they swim off with it, and they'll actually, and again, keep your bail open, That's part of it. I mean, as soon as you that bait's out there, again, a floating bait works way better,
Yep.
and to kind of get their attention and whatnot else. But anyhow, by letting them take it, I mean, I have seen them. What are you talking about, the time and such? I mean, I've seen them take it, and they will take it for a while. And until they throw their head back, they haven't swallowed that bait.
No.
And if you were to pull back on that, they'll just open their mouth and they'll let it go.
Yep. And I have actually the biggest gator I ever caught. Gator comes up, gets the bait, never puts his head back. And I told my buddy I was with, I said, I don't know what's going on here, but we ain't gonna catch this gator. Long story short, somehow, some miraculous way, I put a snatch hook in this gator, and when we pulled him up to the side of the boat, the gator spit the bait a long time ago, but he had that 85-pound braid wrapped around his front right claw, and that's how we caught that gator, because he got himself tangled up in the bait. So gator eats the bait. Get a snatch hook in your gator. Don't put hooks in your bait. It's one of those ethic things. It's illegal. 2, it's unethical. Just don't do it. And with that being said, I mean, at this point, either with the snatch hook or the bait, you know, you're fighting this gator, and I can't really put into words or explain to you how that process is, because it's exhilarating. I mean, it's so much fun. It's a great time. There's really nothing that I would rather do. I mean, I've killed a lot of big bucks and killed some turkeys, but fighting a big gator, there ain't much better than it. So I'm gonna let you experience that on your own. With that being said, a couple tips: don't put too much heat on these gators. Once you get that snatch hook in him, loosen up your drag, and be patient. You know.
But then again, don't wear them out.
Yeah.
Don't wear them out. I mean, there's a fine. If you can't horse him too bad, or else you break your line. But if you give him too much slack and try to fight it like a fish, then you're not going to get him up. Because a lot of times they'll lay on the bottom and they'll take their claw. They'll just dig in because they don't have any natural predators, and they're just going to hang out. They know that nothing's really. They've never experienced anything that's going to eat them before, and you have to use the right.
You have to be patient. You just be patient. So now we're to the point where, and this is as a guide, this is my favorite part, is when you got that gator submerged under the boat, 3 foot submerged, he's wore out, and it's time. It's go time. It's time to kill your gator. So there's a couple things. In Florida, you can use a harpoon to put an extra line in a gator with rope on it. Personally, I hate using a harpoon. I get the biggest hook that Gator Taker makes. I put it on some 5,000 pound mule tape, and when that gator's out there 10 feet, I take and tie that rope to the side of my boat, throw it out over that gator, reel it in, and I set the hook on him, and I fight him with a hand line. That's the way I like to do it, because
then again, your boat's bigger than a lot of boats.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to be careful with it. I mean, I've caught 10-foot gators in 10-foot boats, and it's
be pulling make him wake across the lake. So with that being said, this is a harpoon here. So you can use a harpoon. You can use a crossbow. Is there any other harpoons and crossbows really?
I mean, any archery equipment.
Anything that you can put a dart on. So get your dart. You can actually get your dart, your harpoon, and a bang stick from. I got a buddy over on the east coast of Florida. His name is John. He owns a company called Cheap Alligator Hunting Equipment. He's who I use.
Cheap meaning inexpensive.
Yeah,
inexpensive. This is good stuff.
Well,
it's not cheap stuff.
Yeah,
it's inexpensive. But
it's really. It's great stuff.
I've used it. I don't have anything complaints.
Yeah, I mean, and I give my stuff hell. I mean, hell, and it holds up really well. So you got your gator up to the boat. This is what we call a harpoon. If you choose not to do it the way I do it, which unless you've hunted gators before, I would not suggest using a hand line with a big treble hook to get these gators to the side of the boat. It can get really, really western, really, really quick with that hand line.
But on the other hand, I prefer to use a harpoon.
Yeah. So, harpoon, You got your tip here. You can get that from John. I think that Hunter sells them too. All their links going to be down in the description of this video. So you got your harpoon, you got your leader. Run about 25 foot of mule tape or rope, and you're going to have a buoy on the end, okay? You get that gator up here to the side of the boat. To get this harpoon in him, pretty much what you're going to do is you just come up and you give him everything you got, but try to get him in some of his soft skin, because
back plate is, it might as well be trying to punch it through that aluminum right there.
Those scoots on that gator's back, it ain't gonna work out for you, and this thing will literally bounce off of his back. So I mean,
side of the neck, armpit, I like it a lot, and again towards the front,
and the tail.
Tail's good. It's great, but I prefer to go towards the front arm, side of the neck, because later after you are able to get that in them. As you're pulling him up to the boat, you want to be able to see that head.
Exactly.
Because a lot of times when you do get them in the tail, they're going to sit straight down like that, and then it's trying to find another hook, whether it's on a fishing rod or another harpoon tip, and they will literally just hang straight down from the tail. And then you're going to get frustrated. You're going to pull it on him a little bit, and then he's going to smack you in the face every time.
And it's try to get him at the front of the body, in front of the back legs, in the soft skin.
Well, like I tell everybody I go with, the number one thing when you get, as soon as that gator's close to the boat, stay calm.
Yeah.
The moment you get excited and start rushing around, something's going to happen. Somebody's going to get hurt. And that's why I prefer the harpoon, because as soon as you're on a fishing rod, whether it's bait or a hook, that gator's going to come up next to the boat, and then as soon as his head comes up close, hit that harpoon in the side of his neck, the side of the armpit, and now once that harpoon's in, every line can break. That thing's not coming out. I've used a lot of different styles of harpoon tips, and show them how that harpoon.
So what this tip is going to do is it's going to go in, and then it's going to lodge sideways.
So you have basically a driver peg on the front of this that holds this dart. And once you punch that through your skin and you pull back, that's what all this tape is and such. I prefer, because once you hit that in there, you're going to pull the stick back. The stick doesn't stay connected to it, and then your steel cable you attach your mule tape or rope or whatever else that you've got him now on a tether.
And once you get this in him, throw that rope and that buoy over the side of the boat, because the last thing you want is from someone inside your boat to get tangled in that rope while that gator's acting a fool right there at the side of the boat. I'm telling you, don't want that. Once you get this harpoon in him,
well, that comes back to staying calm. I hold on to the rope if I can handle it. Then you feel the gator out. If it's a really big gator that's really ornery, if you need to let it go, let it go. I mean, it doesn't necessarily hit him and throw it off,
because then once you get this in him, he's pretty much done. Like, I mean, he's done dealing at that point.
Like I said, I've never had one pull out. He's always good to go.
So
then again, stay calm, because now you have him on your tether, and whether you use your big hook or I use this harpoon, once he's on there, he's good.
I get a little bit excited.
It's kind of an understatement, isn't it?
I'll get a little bit tore down every now and then.
And you've killed how many? No, we've killed the amount of gators that we've killed, and it's like his first time every time.
Last year we killed 36 gators over 10 foot, and I was just excited I was more excited on the last one than the first one. I mean, it's something that you never get tired of. But so we've got our gator to the side of the boat. We've got our harpoon in this gator. He's done dealing. He's tired. We have lines in him. He's at the side of the boat. How do we dispatch that gator now? Do you pull your pistol out?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is not legal in Florida. Now, I'm not super keen on the other states. And again, do your research on what you're allowed. Here in Florida, you are not allowed to use any weapon other than a bank stick. No pistols, no rifles. This isn't, we're not in Louisiana where they shoot them with rifles and some of those TV shows and such.
Do that.
But here in Florida, that is not legal.
But with that being said, though, going back to the pistol thing, a lot of us have our concealed weapons permit. FWC doesn't care. That pistol has to be 3 steps away, and by 3 steps, it has to be unloaded, in a locked box, in another container. That's what I was told by a game warden that I checked in with last night before doing this video. 3 steps away that pistol has to be. So if I have a pistol when I'm gator hunting, unloaded, in a box, in a storage compartment. That's how it's got to be. I mean, there are no excuses there, because they will get your ass if you have a pistol out. I'm telling you, they will get you. It ain't good. So, Gators.
I don't know anything about that. No, I'm serious. I've always, I try to stay.
I don't even bring a pistol with me.
I do have my concealed, and I always have a pistol with me, but it's always stowed properly.
Yep.
And I've several times I've been boarded by FWC, and they ask me, hey, where's your pistol? And I say, it's back there in that compartment.
Yep.
And that's the end of the story. They don't ask about anything. They don't, I mean, as long, and again, respect. And you respect them, and you do the right thing, and they're going to treat you right as well.
We've got our gator up to the side of the boat. We're ready to kill this gator. You have to use a bang stick. Or you can use a knife. I'm not going to encourage it. I'm not going to show you how to do it, because I don't want you doing it.
I don't want to do it.
No,
no.
Gabriel Arrington came hunting with me, and one of my clients went there. He and his brother Robert, Blue Gabe, Deer Meat for Dinner, these guys, they're phenomenal gator hunters. And we forgot a bang stick, and he killed the gator beside the boat. I'd never been in that situation before. I wasn't comfortable doing it. I watched him do it and how he did it. I learned things from him. But I'm not even gonna start showing you guys how to do that.
Stay prepared.
Stay prepared.
You forgot something.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing that can happen. You know, go through your own checklist before you leave the house. Then again at the boat ramp, go through your checklist. Even though you have it, you brought it, don't leave it in the truck. I mean, it's too easy. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of things that are needed, and just stay prepared.
And we all have iPhones or Androids. Go into your notepad, make yourself a checklist, go through that checklist. So this gator's at the side of the boat. We've gotten our bang stick from cheapalligatorhuntingequipment.com.
Real quick, a bang stick in general. Basically, a bang stick does not have a trigger. It is a firearm. It does use a bullet. This one particularly, there's different sizes and calibers. This one here is a 44 mag. 44 mag is a very large bullet.
Big bullet.
You actually prefer not to use the 44 mag because it's too big of a bullet almost. I mean, yes, that does do what needs to be done, but it is a bit overkill.
I use 357 mags. I mean, that's what I use.
So basically, the way this bang stick works is your bullet will go inside of it, and there is a point down, which would be a firing pin on a regular weapon. But there's a point on the inside of this which slides when your bullet slides in, and on impact of the hitting is the force that a trigger pull, basically the spring pin on a weapon. So,
and it don't take much at all. You know, if this thing is loaded like this, I'm telling you, it's literally, this is what kills these gators. And that thing goes off. I mean, it doesn't take much.
That being said, safety first.
Oh.
We never load a bang stick until the gator is on the side of the boat and you have your harpoon or your big hook or 2 fishing lines or however you feel like that gator is relatively stable. Everybody's calm, nobody's rushing around. All right, we're done. The gator is side of the boat, still alive, but we're ready to take this gator. Then we load our bang stick.
Yeah, so you have your safety pin in here, and we're gonna do a whole separate video on bang sticks. In summary, you have your safety pin in. Ooh, that needs to be greased. Slide your bullet in there, slide it back in, your safety pin is in. And when I have clients in the boat, until it is pointed down, and that's back, and I ease this too, that is the only time that this bang stick is ready to go. And then, this is literally all it takes. You don't have to do all that. This is all it takes, right there. That's it.
I've seen a lot of guys that on some of the first times that they've bang stick. A lot of times, believe it or not, if you try to put too much effort into it, not only are you going to be working too hard and everything else, but generally, if you try to slam it down real hard, you'll actually arc down, and you won't actually hit you. I mean, you'll either, and I've seen people get all excited and go, whoop, and then the head's right here, and they don't even hit the gator.
Yeah.
I mean, and
then your
that
bullet's
that could possibly hit the boat.
Yeah.
There's the whole. It's stay calm, and be safe.
Yeah,
and literally just go over there and just tap him on the head, and you're not. I have seen people. I mean, you can tap too lightly, but that gator is probably going to go down just for a second. He's going to come up in a few seconds.
Yeah.
I mean. But it's better to tap him too lightly than try to really smash that thing into his head. And shot placement is huge.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to put a picture up right now, and I'm going to circle where you're going to want to put this first.
You get a big gator on the boat, he's already pissed off. And now if he's got a hole in him that's not in the right spot, that doesn't kill him instantly, not only is it not ethical, but it's extremely unsafe. That gator's going to start thrashing. He's going to bite the side of the boat. There's probably scars on the side of here too.
This boat's eating.
I mean, but anyhow, if shot placement is huge, not only for safety, but back to being ethical. We want to dispatch this gator as fast, as quickly, not put him through the stress, and actually your meat will taste better too if he's not horsed as long.
So right here is where you're going to want to put the shot of this bank stick on this gator's head. All right, your gator's dead. You got a 10-foot gator laying beside the boat. Where do you go from here? Well, this is where it gets tough, a little tough. Is that a gator right there? That's just a piece of wood.
You're getting excited again.
Yeah, here we are.
We're talking about gator.
I'm sitting over here thinking about putting this bank stick in a monster's head. Gator's laying beside the boat. Here's how I load them. Bring the head over. Have your buddy grab the front offside foot.
Hold on, first, when you bring that head over, what's the first thing you do?
When you bring that head over the side of the boat, take a sharp edge knife, and right where I circled that you just seen, you run that back there, sever that spinal cord.
No. First, before that.
Tape his mouth shut. Tape his mouth shut.
Tape his mouth shut.
Yeah.
The first thing that I do.
Oh yeah, man, I can't believe I forgot that. I can't believe I forgot that.
Gator's on the side of the boat. A big gator. Actually, we have a small gaff on the boat. No, you cannot bring a 10-foot alligator on with a gaff. But what I do is I reach over there and I grab just the bottom jaw and pull him up next to the boat, and I'll grab that gator and you spin him around backwards. You want the top of his head against the you want to be looking at the bottom jaw, and you can grab that gator and you pull him up, and I lean him right here over the side of the boat, and then have the other person while you're holding his mouth shut, because this gator's dead. Yeah. But just like a rattlesnake, he can still bite you. They'll move. They've got
those
the
reflexes,
nerves, and I have seen them snap.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, you grab a hold of that head, and that's what I like the gaff for. You can kind of keep the mouth closed with the gaff hook, and then you can grab both sides of it. I mean, with both hands, pull his head up just enough to lean it over the back of the boat. And actually, you can put because he's laying over backwards, and it's kind of awkward sounding. But once you do it once, it makes so much difference. You grab him, flip him over upside down, and hold him down just like this. So he's backwards out of the boat. And then you got your guy. Wrap it.
Just give him some wraps.
5 or 6 wraps with electrical tape. Electrical tape works the best that I've found.
And because with a gator, they have, I think it's 200 pounds per square inch of closing force. They have 2 pounds per square inch of opening force. If their mouth is closed, they're done. Yep. I mean, like even these trappers, like my buddy Chris Stutz from over on the east coast of Florida, he traps gators, he keeps them alive. That's a whole different story.
Not recommended unless you're properly trained.
He's a nuisance trapper, but he'll wrap them up, wrap their mouths. So wrap their mouths after you kill them just to be safe.
5 or 7 wraps of electrical tape. It works the best. That's what everybody uses. And then you're good. And then now that you've got the wrapped mouth, what do you do next?
Take that knife, run along that spinal cord, sever it. I'm talking just sever it. Just make jelly out of it. And then
what that does is that stops the nerves. You kill a snake or something, you hit him in the head with a shovel, and and then there's he'll still twitch and move. Now they will twitch and move because they're muscles, but as long as that spinal cord is severed, then
you're good. You're safe.
You'll see his toes move or something just a little bit, but I've seen him actually stand up. A completely dead gator will actually stand up in the boat and look at you. And so unless you make sure that spinal cord is severed.
So at this point, you got his mouth taped, you've put that knife in the spinal cord, your tag is punched. That being said, pull that gator up over the front of the boat, have your buddy grab that offside leg, roll that leg over, and at that point you can go around, if there's 2 of you, you can go around, get the back offside leg, roll him over to the boat. Gator's in the boat. First thing you do before you crack open that celebratory beer, before you take that Snapchat and send to your buddies, before you do that Instagram reel, get your tag 6 inches up from the tip of the tail, do your slit, put that tag in, clamp that tag securely. because when those wardens check it, they're going to pull on it.
You got about 30 seconds.
Yep.
Because if that game ward's watching, which he probably is, he's going to watch that. And if you 30 seconds goes by, you're going to get a spotlight on the side of the boat, and they're going to say, hands up, don't move.
Yep.
And you're going to say, where did you come from? And then while you're figuring this, there's another guy sitting right here. I've had 4 of them come up at one time on us.
I remember that very vividly. So with that being said, when you roll your gator in the boat, put the tag on them. Now we're at the second gator is about to eat a bait. But before that, I'm going to show you a little pro tip here. So these gators bleed a lot once you sever the spinal cord. See all that blood? So I have a little bit of a mess in my boat right now. But here's the trick, guys. Go into your bathroom. Take your wife or girlfriend's tampons. Tampon in the hole. Second tampon in the hole. Mess averted. You have 5 minutes to clean up instead of 25 minutes to clean up. It just takes, obviously, soaks up all the blood and plugs the hole. So we'll call it Adam's Tuesday. Is it Tuesday?
Thursday.
It's Thursday. The Thursday semi-pro tip of the day. Now we're at the point to where a lot of guys are like, what do I do now? So I'm going to tell you what I do. If I'm anywhere with a client, if I'm hunting with a buddy, if I'm hunting on my own, and I am within 2 hours of Okeechobee, Florida, I'm taking my gator to Florida Trophy Gators, to Rick Lightsey's place. I'm dealing with the ladies in the office. I'm putting that gator in their cooler. They're taking care of it for me because they do such a phenomenal job. They do the processing, the taxidermy, they can do the tanning. One of the guys there makes these cool little necklaces for your kids if you want out of the scoots. They just do a phenomenal job. Or you can skin it yourself. But with that being said, we're gonna do a separate video. I'm gonna get with my buddy Mike Reynolds. He's the nuisance trapper here in in Manatee County. And we're gonna get like a 6-foot gator and we're gonna show you how to skin a gator. And then we're gonna barbecue the whole freaking gator.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, I know this was a long video, but I see all the time, you know, these new guys, they want to get into hunting, but they didn't have a mentor like I had. They don't have someone to teach them. And then they get on these sites and they ask questions because they just want to know. And these dudes just roast them, make them feel like absolute dog. Like, that's just, I don't know. I feel like this video can help some of those guys. And even though we've been sitting here talking, I'm sure we missed something, but this is the way that we do it. It's successful way we do it. I didn't tell you all my tricks with baiting because if you knew all that, we wouldn't have any trophy gators in Central Florida. But with that being said, listen, if you need a guide, or you know, if you want to come, if you're watching this up north and you want to come gator hunting, if you're in Florida and want to come gator hunting, get with me. Go back to the YouTube homepage, find my Instagram, DM me, or just put down in the comments. You know, if you want to come. Obviously it's not free because I have bills to pay. I got to pay for this crap hole of a boat. I'm kidding, it's not. But I mean, I have bills to pay. So I mean, and it is a business. But I'll treat you fair. And even if you draw your own tags and want to come hunting with me, I'll try to accommodate you. And you know what? If you can't come with me, he can take you. Or if we're booked, I got, you know, buddies all over this state that can take you, that are, you know, really good gator hunters. And I wouldn't send you with somebody that I wouldn't go with myself. So with that being said, keep an eye out on the how to clean a gator.
Speaking of that, I want to throw in one quick thing. You mentioned within 2 hours of a facility.
Yeah.
Now the gators will spoil. Nobody has a cooler.
Yep.
It's not a fish that you can just throw in a cooler.
Yep.
Especially, it's most important in the morning. It's not too bad at night. But if it's going to be more than an hour to anywhere that you're going, or in the first you want to do is get them out of the sun. But if it's going to be more than an hour, the easiest way to do it I've done is literally just bring some extra old towels and dunk them in the water and just keep it wet and moist. That will go a lot to making sure you preserve the meat, whether you're going to do it yourself or you're going to take it to somebody, because I mean there's nothing worse than, you know, getting stuck in traffic or boat ramp waiting for everybody to pull, and then now he's sitting in the sun. You get to your processor and they'll tell you your gator's bad because he's just been sitting in the sun for 3 hours.
And I've seen it happen.
It's terrible.
It
so there's a couple of tricks to do that. There's a couple times we've had a couple-hour drive where we were going, and I was going to take it home and butcher it myself. And what I do there is I lay a wet towel over top of it, get you 5 or 6 bags of ice, lay it right across the top of its back, and throw another wet towel on top of that. And what it'll do is keep that gator cool. They won't spoil as like a fish. I mean, it's a bigger animal, which means it's going to take longer for that body internal temperature to rise to this boiling point. So you do have a little bit of time, but throw a wet towel over it goes a long way. And if it's going to be longer than, you know, an hour or two, then and a couple bags of ice and keep them out of the sun.
Yep. Look at that. How perfect timing is that? So I got to go coach softball practice. So with that being said, be sure to hit the subscribe video. Turn on the subscribe button. Be sure to turn on your notifications. We're going to do that gator cleaning, and we're going to barbecue the whole gator hopefully sometime in the next couple months once these gets warmer and these gators start moving. So we appreciate you watching the video. If this is not the way that you gator hunt, drop down in the comments. Let us know how you do it.
In the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, do your research. And I can't say it enough, just do your research. And that extra 20 minutes or an hour you're going to spend on your phone or your computer just making sure you're prepared will be well worth it if you were to wind up with a ticket for something that you didn't realize. Because when they say, oh, I didn't know that, well, they don't play with that.
They don't care.
So you are required to stay safe, and please be ethical. And
if you have any questions, like I told you earlier, go to my Instagram page. It's Gator_Snatcher12. And if you have any questions during gator season, or if you ever need help, if you're ever stranded or need help or a hand, get up with me. If I can't help you, I promise I got somebody around that can help you. With that being said, can't wait to see you guys next time. We got some cool stuff dropping. If you like this video and like these tutorials, hit that little thumbs up there. Don't forget to hit subscribe. We appreciate you watching, and you'll have a nice day.
Stay safe.